How did Americans get so fat? I lived in Japan for 2 years, and lost a ton of weight. I drank a lot of alcohol, ate whatever food was convenient, and never consciously exercised. I lived upstairs from a Genkaizushi sushi shop, and across the street from Choka Tuntun with excellent ramen and surprisingly large jumbo bikuri gyoza. I had a car, but walked and took public transportation because it was more convenient. After 2 years of Japanese life, my BMI was 19, just on the underweight side of healthy. I now live in an American suburb. I track my diet and exercise on apps. I have a home gym with weights, a Peloton exercise bike, and VR boxing subscriptions. I have another gym at work. My BMI is 29, overweight bordering on obese. I've thought about the reasons for this. Why did I get thin without trying in Japan, then get fat while trying to stay thin in the USA? If you were trying to design the perfect obesogenic society to make people fat, you would do two things: subsidize low-nutrient foods with a lot of calories, like corn. Use fear, zoning restrictions and tax laws to keep people away from sidewalks, parks, and the gym of life. America does both of these things. Due to the peculiar way Americans select presidents, Iowa has outsized political influence. Iowa also grows a lot of corn, so it's not surprising that American agricultural policy favors corn. Modern varieties of corn, and especially those varieties processed into corn syrup, have calories but not much else. If your body tells you to eat until it senses that you have enough vitamin C, and you eat mostly corn, you'll consume a lot of calories and still be hungry. If your tongue tells you to eat until it has tasted enough, you'll have a lot of corn syrup. On the other hand, traditional Japanese restaurants serve small amounts of carbs, rice or noodles, intensely flavored with small amounts of high-quality protein and fat, fish in sushi or pork slices in ramen. Japanese cuisine is quality over quantity, while common American food is the opposite. It's easier to stop eating after a few bites of intensely flavored carb/fat/protein medley than a few bites of bland fat-free sweetened engineered food. At the same time, American zoning laws encourage large residential areas with no commercial areas nearby. Where there are commercial areas, there are huge parking lots which are unpleasant to walk through. Parking spaces occupy the area that a sensible construction would use for walking paths. Japan is the opposite. There are plenty of walking paths and pedestrian-only areas. Mixed zoning with stores on the first floor and residential units above are common, and possible without requirements for a parking space per bedroom or restaurant table. Parking and highway tolls in Japan are expensive, so people are encouraged to walk and take public transportation. Finally, American media encourages people to be afraid. Afraid of kids getting abducted while walking to school, so they are driven instead. Afraid of the neighbors calling the police because your kids are outside, so kids play inside instead. Afraid of crime on public transportation, so everyone drives instead. Afraid of ticks and mosquitoes and sunburns in nature, so everyone stays inside and watches screens instead. Japan has giant swallow hornets, so called because the hornets are as large as a small bird like a swallow, that alive dozens of hikers a year, but nobody stays out of the mountains because of them. It's possible to live a healthy lifestyle in America if you constantly invest time and effort. It's easy to live a healthy lifestyle in Japan by just being lazy. Being unhealthy requires extra work.